Hola, my friend. I'm Melissa V. Cartwright, and welcome to the Passionate Performer Podcast. You have a voice that deserves to be heard. And you also deserve to have a performance career where you don't feel like you're sacrificing who you are to meet the demands of the industry. I'm a Latin singer-songwriter, actress, and voice coach with 25 years of experience. And so I get it. I understand the grind, the joys, the ups and downs, and everything in between. We cannot keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. So we are here to help you problem solve those challenges, figure out why we're feeling the way we do, and give you the next right step. We are not here to mess around. We are ready to take action. Let's go. Ooh, it is summer in the thick of it right now. If you do hear the hum of the AC in this episode, sorry, not sorry. It is so hot here in coastal Virginia, as it is in lots of places here in the United States, experiencing a crazy heat wave. I hope you are doing well. I wanted to make just a couple of announcements before we jump into this very, very juicy episode with my friend and guest, Emily Hatch. First off, we are rounding out season 2. This is the season finale, as they say, of the Passionate Performer podcast since we relaunched back in February. Thank you so much for hitting play. You hear podcast hosts say all the time, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for your reviews or for sharing episodes. When we say that, it's for real, for real. It's a satisfaction of knowing that this is helping you, but also that you're sharing it with your friends and fellow artists in this safe space that we've created to talk about some of these challenges that we run into all the time as performing singers, and making sure that we stay in a mode where we feel satisfied and where we feel at peace and where we feel excited to do this. This is something that so many people would only dream about, and they would never actually take a step to go do the thing. But you have, and you have said yes to this calling, if you will, on your life. And so it really does mean the world to know that you're tuning in. Thank you so much for all the messages that you sent me via Instagram, email, about what is helping and what's serving you in this season of your life. Because it's been so full and so wonderful, I'm also going to push pause right here on the podcast. So I'm going to take a little break for the summer. I'm still going to be actively interviewing more amazing guests so that we are ready to come back in all of our glory here in a couple of months. But in the meantime, feel free to go back and catch some reruns and still reach out to see where I can serve you best. So let's talk about my friend that's joining me for this episode, because she's a new friend to me. She's a colleague. We've been kind of like secretly stalking each other a little bit on Instagram. And I'm so glad we have, because she's a baddie, okay, as the kids say. Let me tell you a little bit about my friend Emily Hatch. Not only is she a vocal coach, she's been helping people for years. She is also a professional singer-songwriter. She's a podcast host with Carrie Schaefer. Together, they have the Honestly Dear Listener podcast. She's also one of the main advisors and a producer for Vocalize You in Los Angeles. This is an organization that works with professional singers. She's based out of NYC. And if you follow her on Instagram, she's going to tell us a little bit more about the origin story of her very unique Instagram handle. I don't want to spoil it. She has receipts, ladies and gentlemen. She is helping so many artists just like you, just like me, who are in this season possibly of not much is happening in terms of getting booked. Okay, and maybe you've had a very, very full season of lots of gigs. 2024 for you was like you were hustling. 2025 came and all of a sudden it's been crickets. But I think that there's a reason for that. And I don't want you to just default to, oh, something's wrong with me. So she's going to give us some very, very practical advice about what you can be doing in these seasons of pause, of rest. And what you do is actually planting seeds. It's still creating momentum for whatever's coming next. Yeah. So let's dive in.
This is like very me to just skip over the part that's actually about me. I was like, look, okay, yeah, Emily, who cares? What are we talking about? Yeah. I'm like, no,
it's all
that
good.
looks great.
All good. So happy to have you here. So yeah, we're really just having a conversation that, listen, I'll tell you right now, I'm in the middle of a season of waiting. And it's taken me years to be at peace with that, because I'm also in a season of like, I ain't got time. I ain't got time for things that don't
Yeah.
align with me anymore. And I'm sure listeners listening to this episode are feeling the same, right?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, like last year, it seemed like I had a gig every month. I was getting ready for my own personal cabaret. Did that at the first part of the year. And now it's been like, whoo, like just the tide's kind of like coming in and going. But then when I'm tempted to really like hustle again for the types of gigs I was doing last year, I can feel it immediately in my body. Like, we've unlocked another portal. It's time for something else. But not everybody feels that way, right? Like when all of a sudden, when they had back-to-back jobs or gigs lined up, and then all of a sudden we don't. So like, I'm sure you've gone through seasons like that too. How do you navigate it personally? Like what's going on in your head?
Well, I think it's important to kind of differentiate, and like knowing yourself is really important. Differentiating between, is this just a post gig, like woo woo letdown? And I'm just processing that I've been like working so hard and pushing and almost like surviving this huge event. And then it's a letdown after. So the difference between that and then like I was booked and now I'm not. And is there something wrong with me if I don't have anything on the horizon? Or like what you're going through, that is like, I'm learning to say no to things I don't want to do and sorting that stuff out. Right. So I always warn artists, because I have had this happen myself, that first like post gig letdown that you're like, you've been pushing and you finally got this thing, or you made your cabaret or you whatever. And then you're like, after. And usually it's like relief followed by some kind of, was that even good? Kind of like going through all that. So I think allowing space to process that, and also just kind of knowing that you need to maybe go through some kind of thing in your mind where you actually congratulate yourself and actually celebrate what you did, and maybe like reviewing that in your mind and all the lead up to it, and that you did the best you could with what you had. Kind of knowing what you need is important with that kind of situation, because at least for me, I don't really celebrate. I'm like, okay, what's next? You know, and it's not just going and having like a sparkling wine after your show to celebrate. It's like, you might need to spend a little time with yourself to actually congratulate yourself for what you did. I hope that makes sense. So like, this is kind of a long answer, I guess. Is that okay?
Yeah, totally. Because I think what's going to be really powerful about this, just based on your experience as a professional singer and the way that you also coach and mentor other artists as well through this process, is really hearing this real life stuff. Like, I would just really appreciate you being like, no, actually, I'm the person who wants to push to the next thing. And like, hurry up. What's the next thing? So somebody listening may be like, well, that's just the way I'm wired, and that kind of helps me stay in a flow. And so for you though, this may be a hard question to answer, but I'm just going to put it out there. How do you differentiate when it turns into toxic behavior? You know what I'm saying? Where it's like this unhealthy obsession with the next thing that you can't even enjoy what just happened, like you said, like in reflecting on the process. What are some guiding thoughts, questions that usually help you, like your own checks and balances, so that, right, you really can enjoy the thing and then move forward with clarity versus with haste? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And that is like a complicated question, but I think something that I do, or I try to do, like, let's be honest, I suck at this a lot of the time. I think it's a practice. Like, we're
Yes.
always learning and figuring stuff out and being like, oh, I screwed that up or whatever. But I try to notice my self-talk. So if I have a self-talk in my head that's like, that wasn't even that good. I hope the next thing's better. If you don't keep moving forward, you're going to be irrelevant. You have to make sure that if it's this kind of like self-critical thing, I try to notice that and figure out why I feel that way about myself, and maybe take that time to be like, no, I think we did a really good job here. And, therapy and those kind of things to like process why you have to beat yourself into submission to feel like and accomplish to feel valuable. If it's out of that place, we need to do some work, because that's not going to be long-term productive for you. Like, the shame is not a motivator long-term. But if it's like, okay, that was really fun, I'm super excited about this, I do know that I like messed some stuff up, or this could have gone better, so how can I like adjust and move forward for the next thing that I have happening? Because there's going to be some critiques, and that's okay. But yeah, noticing like the difference between, or maybe it's, I'm really tired now and I need to like rest for a minute, and it's okay to rest. Just kind of noticing what the narrative in your own mind is surrounding what you've done and then what you're trying to do and why. I had a show, it was insane. I had a theater call and be like, do you have any shows you want to do here for like a concert kind of thing? So I wrote a Stevie Wonder tribute show with like 4 singers, 6-piece band. In 9 weeks, I wrote it, we rehearsed it, and I put it up. Ooh. And after it was done, I felt the letdown, but it was kind of beady uppy. Like, I don't know if that was even good. Moving on. I didn't watch that show for a year. We recorded it. We paid money to like record everything. I didn't even watch it for a year because I was scared to watch it. So noticing those, like when I finally watched it, I cried because I was like, that was actually good. Like, it needs some work, but oh my gosh. Like, so just saying, like, I think paying attention to your self-talk is very important and harder than we think.
So hard. I really appreciate you being candid about that. First off, I would pay good money to see that. Enjoy that. And yeah, the fact that a year, wow, it took you a year, and that's okay. We're not even like, I'm not saying that out loud to judge, but it will take time. It's like you said, if it's a practice. So I kind of want to maybe like put these into like mini chunks, because what you talked about in this season of nothing happening, right? There's so many avenues we could go down. So let's say you're evaluating and you are feeling tired, right? Like, if I'm in a situation where I'm tired, what's something I could do in the season of like waiting, or some things that even really feed or rejuvenate us as artists? What's something that rejuvenates you?
This is such a good question. I feel like sometimes I just have to be okay with not wanting to do anything that's related to producing music. Like, I take a lot of walks. I listen to audiobooks, like sometimes things that are motivating, like The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron is, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's like a healing salve to your soul. So I sometimes will like take walks and listen to things like that. Or I really like listening to like this just really descriptive books. Like, I love the book Circe. I forget who it's by, but I know sorry, I forget who it's by. But it's
we'll
just
put
this
gorgeous,
gorgeous story. Just things like that are art that isn't my thing that I have to make. And it makes me feel motivated to create more. Also just kind of noticing what's getting me excited about any art or music. And just kind of like allowing that to feed me instead of being like, now come on, get up and do your thing, you know? Recently I've been like, I love the song Overjoyed by Stevie Wonder. Oh, yeah. I wanted to learn how to play it on piano because I've performed it, but I've never played it. Just little things like that where I may never play it, but it just feels really good to like learn something that I love, not try to quiet that like driving like taskmaster voice. So
I love that
yeah.
so much. Yeah, I once heard somebody say, if you work with your brain, Sabbath with your hands. And if it's the other way around, you know, and I feel like for artists, it's funny because I was just having this conversation with one of my clients that I work with about the importance of nurturing other forms of art, other forms of hobbies. And I love that you were talking about playing the piano. Like, I have not touched the guitar in a bajillion years, and I just now picked it back up again. I got my 2 chords. I challenged myself to, can I write a song with just 2 chords? Plenty of people have done that, you know, and it's brought me such joy again because it's just another outlet. It's a shift. I'm not doing it for a project, which actually leads me to another question. I talked about a little bit about this in last week's podcast episode, but there's this dance, and I'm sure you've experienced it as a pro singer and then working with pro singers in particular too. This whole getting paid for something that we love, getting paid for our art. In fact, I devoured the last episode of Honestly a Dear Listener about the money trauma and the arts. I was just like, and give me some more. So relatable, right? And I feel like part of the tension of waiting for the next thing, you know, it could also be a matter of some people have to pay their rent, you know, like, so when, I don't know if you want to share from personal experience or how you walk artists through this season of waiting when there's a little bit of the antsiness coming because it's a matter now of living as well. Maybe they don't have the side hustle. Walk us through that. Like, how could we take the next right step in that scenario?
That is, yeah, the money thing is real.
So real.
So, okay, there's like subsects of this. So many, like this is a huge thing. So I sing a lot of covers for money. Maybe it's not like getting paid for your art as far as your original songs and those kind of things, but getting paid to sing other people's songs because, let's face it, there's usually more money in that if we're not a super highly recognized artist. So I sometimes get discouraged realizing like I'm just singing covers or whatever, and that's not what I do as an artist. I really have to separate my like hustle brain and like working for money brain and my I just want to make things that people like brain. Occasionally when I'm at a cover show, I actually will think of myself as like a busser or I know this is whatever, or like a server, the types of jobs that people have when they're not singing for a living. And I can detach myself from the value of what I'm doing being my identity and more just as like, this is the job. Like I'm picking up dishes or I'm singing Don't Stop Believing again. You know what I mean? So that's one thing of just like, if you're doing this for money, realizing that this isn't always your art. It's sometimes just your job, and it's okay. Like it doesn't have to be that your song is being sung and you are becoming a star. You could just be like glad that you're doing this for $100 instead of bar backing, you know? But in this season where we're dry and no money's coming in, this is where I like to say that I think artists should prepare for the most autonomy they can possibly have. It doesn't mean that you won't be working with bands or working with a team or doing all this stuff, but like do what you can ahead of time to make sure that you can solely make money by yourself and you don't need to rely on anyone else. Like learn how to play those 4 chords on the piano, like learn how to accompany yourself, get yourself a little setup that it could just be like a tiny little $300 Fishman speaker that you can plug into, go to coffee shops, go talk to people and be like, can I just set up here and do something to get your own thing going? So get your skills up, spend that time doing that, because if you're autonomous, then you have control. That's what's hard about theater, I think, is that we're often like waiting for someone, usually one person, maybe two people, to decide that we're allowed to perform. Do what you can to be autonomous and go make friends. Because most of the work that I've gotten, I don't really like apply for stuff. I just show up and sing places and get to know people, and that's how I get jobs. That's how I've gotten every paying gig I have, is just by knowing more people.
I love that. Are you talking specifically? Because I like open mic nights, karaoke, networking events. There may be, for other people listening, they may have to travel a bit to maybe find some of these, but what are some of those networking opportunities you're mentioning?
So I moved to New York 2 years ago. Before that, I was in the Denver area. And before that, I was in a very small town in Colorado. So anything, everything, show up and sing. Because if your singing is your thing, people, like, you're going to shine in those environments. I literally got a student from going to karaoke. And I got 2 clients from showing up to a jam and singing a cover. Like, you just don't know, like, go places and say you're a singer and like look for opportunities. Sometimes formal networking is not very productive and feels like a lot of us maybe feel like inauthentic. Just go talk to people and say what you do out loud, and go sing in more places, or show up to your friends' shows and talk to the people that are going to see your friends' shows and be like, yeah, I do this too. Sit with them, talk to them, like, figure out if they need anything. Just make your face be in more places.
Exactly. I love that you're like, talk out loud about what you do. I say that all the time too. Like, you want to do the thing. So sure, maybe you're a dental hygienist from 9 to 5, but you're also a singer, So yeah, start introducing yourself as such. I love that. Love, love, love that. Excellent. I'm hearing self-reflection is good, right? Self-reflection that moves you towards a place, not of shame, not of beating yourself up, but of being in the moment and being able to evaluate things as best as possible from a place of neutrality. I love that. And also, like, working on your skill set, taking this time, right, to really sharpen those tools, and of course, finding those outlets. So when a person is kind of coming out of this and things start opening up again, some people are going to be like, yes, yes to everything. Do you still, are you for that? Or are you like, hey, take a beat still to evaluate if this is something you want to do? Because I've seen scenarios, and I've been in them, where I'm like, yay, something. And then I get to it because I said yes, and my whole body starts going, why did you say yes? Right? So when somebody's ready, do you have some things you encourage artists to still be looking for and evaluate, or, just kind of follow your own intuition?
I mean, I think intuition's important. It also depends on where you are in your career, because I think a lot of beginners can nope themselves out of a lot of opportunities. If you haven't tried it, as long as you're safe, obviously,
Sure.
then you should try it, because you could be like, okay, well, I want to be famous, and singing at a coffee shop is not in alignment with that, and I don't like that no one's paying attention. Say yes, and do your best to be like, I'm looking forward to performing, and talking yourself through those opportunities. And then you can be like, I mean, I had a gig once. I was playing in a lot of restaurants, and there was this night that I was singing with this dude that I'd sang with for years, and no one cared at all. And it was like, I mean, I'm used to that. There's a few people that care. Nobody. I sang my favorite song. It's been years I've been doing this. And something I said, I'm sorry, I got to go to the bathroom. I went in and I started to cry. It was like something inside me went, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're not just singing for whoever, wherever. Now, if I need that $100, I should do that. If I've never performed or I need more experience, I should do that until I'm in a place where I feel like I can say no. So I advise people, as long as obviously, again, you're safe and comfortable, when you're starting out, you should take every opportunity to sing. And if people are bad to work with, say no. If people don't listen to your vocal health needs, say no, but otherwise say yes. And then once you get to a certain point, if like you and I were talking about, and you're like, I hate doing this now. I cannot do it anymore.
Yeah.
Listen to yourself. Don't force yourself to do it, and open yourself up to opportunities. That's like just an overview. Like it's case by case, obviously, but I do think when you're first starting, I have some clients that have been like, well, I don't think that I should perform here at this open mic. It's cheapening me. I'm like, dude, you need to go like get some experience first before you start diving yourself. So yes, it's not that simple to just say, it's black and white, but yeah.
Right. I think, the biggest encouragement I think we can draw from everything you've been sharing with us and this convo is don't see this time as being stagnant. Unless that's how you, right? That's how you're going to treat it. But it doesn't have to be. Yeah. Like it's not that there's no momentum, because your rest, your filling up of your cup, your creative outlets, your skill building, that's all momentum. I think maybe we need to redefine what rest is, right? Like maybe you do need that 4-hour nap, but it's not that every day, all day. There's still momentum in that. I think it's almost like seeds we're dropping in the bucket of time too, that beget these things that are opening up, and I think I do believe a little bit in scarcity abundant mindset kind of a thing, like being open to things, like you said. So yeah, thank you so much, Emily. I mean, there's already tons of takeaways of ideas that we can be doing and practicing right now, so that you feel like you can still have peace and joy even in a season where you're not actively singing, whether it is professionally, whether you're a hobbyist singer and you love consuming all the local community theater shows, and you want to be in them all. I mean, whatever that is for you, there can still be purpose in these seasons of rest or stillness or of the in-between. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the thing you said, the word season, I hear it a lot. And then I remember once in a while that they are temporary. And I am a person who gets like very extreme and is like, if it's like this right now, it's going to be like this forever. And I have to remember that there's just a period of time sometimes where we're resting, where we have to gain some more skills so we can be more autonomous with our stuff. Like these are all seasons, busy seasons, push. They pass, So remind yourself that just because you're not producing and everyone's saying yes to you at this moment, it's just a moment.
That's right. Emily, if we want to follow you and connect with you or work with you, where do we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Emily Sparkle Chicken Hatch. If you just start typing in Sparkle Chicken, it will come up. There's a story there. It's not important. Or you can
actually, I want to know.
Do you want to know? Okay.
I do want to know.
So I was married and I had my ex-husband is not a great dude. And his last name I don't love, but I have a child who has his last name. So I was trying to think of like stage names that I could come up with that weren't that. And people were like, what about your maiden name? Also terrible, horrible stage name. So I had a friend whose last name is Starbird. And I just thought that was like the most gorgeous name. But every time I asked him if I could steal it, he said I had to marry him. So I was sitting with my kid and we were like, if I can't be Starbird, what could I be? And my kid's like, Sun Quail. And I'm like, Sparkle Chicken. And so I started jokingly, I like renamed myself on Facebook and people just started calling me Sparkle Chicken.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
But my current husband, whoa, it's a lot of baggage. His last name is Hatch. And we started dating after the Sparkle Chicken thing. So that's hilarious that it's like Sparkle Chicken Hatch. Anyway, so you can find me, Emily Sparkle Chicken Hatch on Instagram. And then my website is thegigingsinger.com.
I love it. I mean, a match made in heaven right there. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Emily, you are a joy. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming on.
Thanks so much.
Woo, that was good. I hope you feel so motivated, seen, heard, not feeling like you're nuts for feeling what you're feeling. Let me know, what are you gonna do next? What's your next move? Or if you are out there getting booked and blessed, I want to celebrate those things with you as well. If you are someone that is looking for support as you are out there sharing your gorgeous voice, or you are running into some mindset issues, or you're getting up there and you have no idea what to do when you actually open your mouth to sing, we created the Passionate Performer program just for you. All of that information is in the show notes. And my friend, have an amazing summer. I'll see you in the next season.